Hope you guys are having a great evening. So we continue with the story of the Tower of Babel. Basically, after the flood, all of the humans, all of the human race wanted to live together in one place, which I guess makes sense. They didn't know what was going to happen, what was going to come, what the risks and the dangers, wild animals and everything. So they all wanted to live in one place, and there was just one area that they came across that they felt was going to fit all of them. So they moved there, and not long after, they get this idea in their head that they want to build a tower that's going to reach heaven. And the idea being that who does God think he is to be in charge of the higher realms? Let's get up there and we'll take control. Now, some people are a little gentler, and they have the opinion that they actually had an altruistic idea. They came up with this mathematical concept that the world gets destroyed every such and such years. So they wanted to go up there and build some sort of support system so that a flood would not happen again. Either way, the way the Torah continues is very interesting. It says, God came down and took a look at the situation. And then he went to his heavenly court and he asked for their opinion. And they came to the decision that they need to destroy this tower. And the way they did it was by creating languages. And that's where languages come from. Until then, everybody spoke the Hebrew tongue, the holy tongue. And from that point after, as they were building, one person says, pass me a brick. The other person thought he said, give me the cement. The next person thought he said, I need a drink. Next guy thought he said, pass me a chocolate bar. It was complete chaos. They had no idea what was going on. And as a result, the entire thing just fell apart. People died, people got hurt, and that was the end. Now, what's interesting that I want to point out is that it says that God came down to look at the situation, and he spoke with his heavenly court. And they say the reason he spoke with his heavenly court was out of humility. He didn't need to ask these angels that he created. And additionally, God is everywhere. He didn't need to come down. What's he coming down for? Why doesn't he observe and say, ooh, this doesn't look good? And that's that. And I'd like to suggest that there's actually a softening blow, if you consider, that is built into this statement. Because God came down to look at the situation, he's insinuating that he wasn't there, in that had there been a more stricter hands-on approach, then maybe they wouldn't have done it, which is true. We know that we have free will, and if we didn't have free will, we would behave a lot better, but it would mean a lot less. But I think that this is baked into the concept that God came down. Because how could these people do this? It was somewhere between a couple of 100 years right after the destruction of the world, and now these people want to mess with God. So God goes ahead and says, well, I wasn't there. So in that sense, he's giving a little bit of a free pass. So unlike the destruction of the world, they didn't destroy the world, but he broke the world into America, China, Russia, all these different places that now we have modern names for them, countries that they're called by nowadays. And in those days, all of a sudden, it got broken up into different areas with different names, and it evolved until we got to where we are today. If that never happened, we would all just be still one language spread out across the planet, but it wasn't meant to be. But it's amazing that throughout this whole thing, you see the compassion and love of God, that he chooses for it to be written in the Torah, and he came down to assess the situation. There's no such thing. You ask any Jewish kid, one of the first songs they learn as a toddler, Hashem is here, Hashem is there, Hashem is truly everywhere. Hashem meaning the name, meaning God. Hope you guys have a great one. Looking forward to the next Torah portion.